You are especially welcome. Good morning. Just good to see you this morning. Another amazing, beautiful Wednesday. My name hasn't changed. It is still Inuarata no Sahai. Now, in the spirit of a new academic year, the 2023-2024, school calendar, I'm going to be, specially doing something for school owners this morning. And the title of my conversation with you this morning is Positioning Your School as a Leading Brand. Positioning your school as a leading brand. Now, when you hear the word brand as a school owner or as a school manager, understand that your brand is beyond your tools of visual impression. Your brand is beyond your elements of identification. Your brand is beyond your school logo, your school badge. Your brand is beyond your aesthetic structure. Your brand is beyond your color, visuals that you have there to draw attention to your school. Now, all these elements of visual impression of your school, all these tools of identification of your school, like your badge, your logo, your color visual, they are very important. But when you limit your branding, activity to just that side, you will just be hanging on one leg because it is one end of the brand equation. This is just so important for you to note and realize. Now, your brand, goes beyond your tools of visual impression. Like I've said, it transcends beyond your elements of, attraction, as important as they are. Now, when you hear the word brand or your school brand as a school owner or as a school manager, your school brand is the reason parents will keep returning term in, term out, session in, session out, is the reason they will keep returning to bring their children to patronize your school. Now, your school brand is also the impression that members of the public have of your school. Your school brand is the way your school is described by members of the public, especially those that have experienced you, those that have sent their awards and children to your school. Your school brand is, the way you are defined, the impression that the members of the public have about your school. Now, this impression that they have of your school or about your school will either make them to continue to patronize you or stay away from you. It could either make them, to also speak well of you to people within their sphere of contact, or speak ill of you. Now, your brand, your school brand as a school owner, as a school manager, is shaped by your performance that you bring to the table. That is what shapes your school brand. Your school brand is defined by your performance. And now, British businessman Howard S. Gini made a strong statement. He said, "It is an immutable law in business that words are words, excuses are excuses, performance is your only reality." So the true brand reality you will ever have is shaped by your performance, is shaped by the experience you bring to the table. And your performance, your brand performance, is defined by your impact on the school children that are in your school. Now, this impact on the school children does not only just end at making them to get good academic grades, which is very, very key and very, very important. In addition to making them get good academic grades, in addition to building the academic competency to that very, very peak experience level, in addition to that, you must also be able to develop them to have healthy self-esteem. Because we have people out there in our environment, in the work environment, when you check their CV, it's garnished with amazing results, amazing certifications that they actually got with their own brain. But when it comes to the issue of healthy self-esteem, there is a serious gap. When it comes to the issue of self-confidence, there is a serious gap. When it comes to the issue of self-belief, see so many people, despite the academic credentials that they possess, they lack this self-belief, they lack this healthy self-esteem, they lack self-confidence. But so in addition to making sure that the children in your school, they are well raised academically, they have strong academic heavyweight. In addition to that, you should also be able to build self-confidence into them, healthy self-esteem, amazing belief in self. This is very important if they'll be able to maximize their potential. So your brand as a school owner, as a school manager, is actually shaped by your performance. Just remember what I said, that your performance is a function of, what the value you add to that child, the value in terms of academic, performance, and the value in terms of being able to instill self-confidence, self-belief, and healthy self-esteem into them. This is very, very key, very, very important. Don't joke with this. This is what shapes your brand. Remember I said your brand is what makes customers, members of the public, or parents to continue to come back for repeated patronage. It's what determines if they will return their children in this new academic session based on how you perform in the last academic session on their child. It's what determines whether they will recommend your school to people they come across. To a very great extent, this is what shapes your brand, your performance. And I will reiterate again, your performance is a function of how you are able to make these children to become academic heavyweights, and also how you are able to build self-confidence and healthy self-esteem into them. Now, in the light of new academic calendar, if you want to, strategically position your school brand to be a leading school brand, you need to have your school brand vision. Your school brand vision. Now, your school brand vision is the vision of how you want your school to be described. When people are having a conversation about schools or anything they're having a conversation on, if your school's name is mentioned there, how would you want them to describe your school? So your vision of how you want them to describe your school is your school's brand vision. Your school brand vision is the vision of the kind of attributes and characteristics you want members of the public to associate with your school. This is just so important. Your school brand vision is a vision of, how the impression that the public, should have of your school, how you want your school to be described. We cannot overemphasize this. You must take this so serious. So in the light of the new academic session, it is very important that as a school owner or as a school manager, you sit with your people, your staff, your team, and then begin to craft your, school's brand vision. If, for example, your school's name is Sabi Montessori School or Sabi International, there is no school's name like that, so I have to use that hypothetical name. You can now start crafting Sabi's brand vision, SBV. Sabi's brand vision. Like I said, assuming your school name, the name of your school is Sabi's International or Sabi Education Center or Sabi Montessori. Sit with your people. For this new academic calendar, let's craft, our school brand vision so that we can strategically position our school as a leading school brand. So you sit with your people and everybody start making contribution. How will you want this school to be described? Mr. Nusa, if somebody is talking about Sabi's International School somewhere, how will you want it to be described? Mrs. Jacinta, if somebody is talking about Sabi's Montessori School somewhere, what kind of adjective or what kind of attribute do you want them to resonate, concerning our school when, they are discussing about our school? What kind of impression? You start noting down all these contributions from your team members, and then at the end of the day, you fine-tune everything and select the most enduring and powerful one from them. You craft, your Sabi's brand vision, your school brand vision. You craft it for the future. You craft for the academic session, then craft for every term. Now, it shouldn't just end at that level. You must make sure that it becomes part of your daily agenda. Every member of staff should be trained and equipped to make sure that they are living out this, school brand vision by way of their attitude to work, by way of their commitment to work, and by way of their relationship with their parents and with visitors that come to the school, and also fundamentally by the impact they make on these children. Remember what shapes your school brand, as I begin to conclude, is your impact on the child, which is a function of making them to become academic heavyweights, and also making sure you raise self-confidence, self-belief, and healthy self-esteem into them. I believe that lots of value have been added to you, and it's so important you send your question across. Just connect with me on my social media handles. Check my name, Inuarata Nosakare, on any of the social media handles, and then send your questions across, and from there I just send you the answers, and then we move things to the next level. I'll be seeing you next week Wednesday, and when I return, I remain the amiable Inuarata Nosakare. Your day is so blessed. Right, thank you.